If you're following along in my replay of Drive on Paris, I'm now up to turn 12. It's September 17th through the 20th, and we're starting with the German turn. And what you see in the first picture here is some of the fighting going on. Antwerp is under siege. That's at the very top of the picture. You see the first guard infantry is in, on the rail line, and the Germans have gone into Antwerp, and some of their fortifications are still intact on the western side of the picture there. Also in the picture, you see some units that are detraining from these armored trains at Brussels. And you've got on top there the 29th Infantry Division, which I believe it costs 10 points, 10 movement points to unload. But, the train has 35 movement points to expend. So I'm bringing in some more forces into the center here, which is we have a rail junction here. This next picture is showing some attacks on the Oise River, and we have the French 1st Infantry, which is singled out here, which is suffering some losses, and you can see they're somewhat infiltrated here by the German units. I think this maybe the Grenadier unit on the eastern side, and the 5th Reserve Division on the western side. During the Allied part of the turn, I did focus on continuing my assault on Metz, which is not shown in any of the pictures here, but this last picture shows the defensive line that the French have set up on the Aisne River that runs off to the, along the river on the south side of the river, running from the center of the picture out to the east. So that's pretty much what happened on turn 12. So I'm going on to turn 13. It's September 21 through 24. And the siege continues in Antwerp, but it doesn't go quite as well as I was hoping. I took a lot of step reductions, but I know Antwerp will fall soon. It's just the cost is going to be, higher than what I really wanted to pay. And in this next picture, we see where Marshal Bülow has captured Lille, and there's really not much resistance there at this stage. You do see the 84th Territorial Division of the French that's kind of falling back, really. And you can see how I've kind of outflanked them with the 5th Cavalry Division. And so I don't know how that unit's going to make out. And then in this next picture, we see where I believe that's the 4th Corps. The German 4th Corps has captured Amman, and we do have some British cavalry along the railroad tracks there, but they're just kind of speed bumps here, kind of trying to contain the Germans as much as possible. We go to the Allied turn, and what I'm showing in this picture here is the French concentration at Metz. And as the picture shows, Metz is quite surrounded here, and the French 3rd Colonial is leading this attack in this area and against the fortress. And this time the Metz fortifications are reduced to rubble, and the 34th Infantry Division is eliminated, and the French 16th Corps is able to advance. And I've got what's shown in the picture here now is what is left of the Metz area. There's like the one fortification really left in the 10-point location, but I've kind of got them surrounded, and supply is basically cut off because the 39th Division is interdicting the railroad. In this next picture, we're seeing the defense of Paris. You've got the British and the French along the river line, a little bit to the north, but in the bottom center of the picture, you see the outskirts of Paris with some of the fortifications. You see, we also see Foch with the Ninth Army headquarters that is deployed there, providing command control for the units in Paris. That brings turn 13 to an end, so we go on to turn 14, which is September 25th through 28th. And what we have here basically is General Kluck's First Army, which is leading this attack on the Oise River, and which is defended by a combination of French and British forces. And you see General French with the BEF holding a position with the headquarters along the railroad track. During the Allied part of the turn, there were some heavy losses in the siege at Metz, and the Germans end up flipping 3 divisions, and the French also lose a step, but Metz, the 10-point location, continues to hold. And I don't have a picture of that, so I'm sorry for that. That's all that really happened on turn 14. So on turn 15, we find it represents September 29 through October 2nd. And the Germans really don't have any reinforcements. In my picture here, we see what's happening at the Battle of Beauvais, and we have the German. It's on the upper left-hand part of the picture. You see the German 3rd and 4th Infantry Divisions from the 2nd Corps. They're being confronted by 2 British cavalry divisions, and obviously you can see there's a French unit just a little bit on the side there, but the city does have a victory point value, so the Allied players trying to hold on to it, but it wasn't able to. So basically, the Germans get the victory points for that location, and General Kluck is continuing to push the First Army toward Paris. You can see how far they've got. In fact, the 5th Division is across the railroad bridge along the river. Anyway, unfortunately for the French, General Minory's headquarters was overrun, and the general was killed in battle, so that is a setback for the French. So this is turn 16, October 3rd through 6th of 1914, and off map we have the continued strike up at Antwerp, and finally Antwerp is captured, and the Germans put 2 reserve divisions in there to hold on to it, but they did lose 3 steps while destroying Belgian Fortress number 5. In this picture, you see on the far right, on the left, it's the German right, but the picture it's on the left, you have Bülow's forces here that are driving into the British along the river, and all the British have is the 2nd Naval Brigade, deployed on the wrong side, of the river, and you've got the Cav. The 1st Cav is trying to do some defense there, and in the middle you've got Kluck's headquarters that's driving through Clermont and pushing along the river line there, and you can see they have somewhat of a breakthrough, and there's not really a contiguous line from Paris along the Aisne River. So I'm not sure how this is going to go, but you do have General French, and you've got the 10th Army, the French 10th Army there, trying to defend Paris. And, the Germans are closing in, but as happened historically, they don't have a lot of strength here. I mean, they're running out of steam, and, basically they outrun their supply. During the Allied part of the turn, the battle at Metz continues, and I don't really have a picture of that, but the Germans are continuing to hold out. And what you see here in the picture is I've got the BEF is covering, as I have written on here, the French left flank, and they're using the river as a defensive position, which is wise. And you see the French have a very strong grip on Paris, and it's heavily fortified, so it's going to be tough to break through, even though you have these British lines coming down along the railroads, getting ready to infiltrate Paris. You've got Kluck coming down in the center, and he's kind of holding some of the French units off toward the eastern side of the picture. And then here we have an area where the French have broken through near Charleville, and we have a very weak position there of some German brigades trying to hold, well, the key location in Charleville, which is worth victory points. So the Germans do have to kind of be a little bit concerned about that, and we were a little bit weak on that railroad junction. But that brings turn 16 to a close, and I thank you for watching, and stay tuned if you'd like to see more of this replay. Have a great day.